Fantasy Philosophers is brought to you by fantasy-info.com.
Matt Ryan has really been talked over last season as a guy that was up and coming, and maybe he was even a top 10 fantasy quarterback. I didn't find that to be the case, to be true in my rankings with him, not to toot my own horn, but I just thought that with him, it's really a lot to ask a quarterback in only his second year in the league to be a viable fantasy option for your team. We've seen a guy like Peyton Manning do something like that, but most of the time, that's not really the case, and so I didn't see that being the case for Ryan, even though he did have the addition of Tony Gonzalez to the team. This offseason, I'm a little disappointed with the Falcons that they didn't get another weapon for Ryan in the passing game. They've still got Roddy White, who, obviously is a top 5 fantasy stud receiver, and you've got Tony Gonzalez, which is a very steady tight end to have. But they've still got Michael Jenkins. Harry Douglas is coming back from his ACL that unfortunately happened to him in August last year. So hopefully he can come back and help the team out and help Matt Ryan's value out. We saw Ryan, he missed 2 games last season when he got hurt. He hurt that, I believe it was a toe injury or foot injury, I want to say. And so he missed getting over 3,000 yards passing. Remember, his rookie year, he had over 400 yards passing. But last year, at the same time, even though he did miss 2 games, he did get over 20 touchdown passes that he threw for 22, and he even ran one in as well. So that is a very nice thing to see, just like we talked about with Joe Flacco, to see that progression, especially in the touchdowns, I want to say, to see that quarterback start finding the end zone more and more is key. Obviously, in fantasy, you need him to get the ball in the end zone. 22 touchdowns passing, 1 extra on the run. And so we can start to see that Matt Ryan definitely is starting to take shape and become that quarterback fantasy-wise that I think we're all going to see him become. Probably, we're not going to really see him get really, really strong until maybe his 4th or 5th season in the league as he continues to mature and they maybe start walking gradually away from the running game and Michael Turner as being the mainstay in the offense, and they start moving more towards kind of like what we saw with the Chargers with Phillip Rivers, where LT, as he was kind of fading off, that's when Phillip Rivers really started taking off. I would think something like that would be the same for Ryan, but still, definitely be a guy that gets somewhere between 26, 27 touchdowns this year and gets back over 3,500 yards passing. And, I know that in OTAs, they're starting to work more on the deep ball, starting to get that deep ball working better, and I think that makes a lot of sense with the receivers that they have. They really should be attacking down the field, especially off of the running game that they have. And that should really help out Ryan in his progression for fantasies. Right now I have Ryan as a guy that's a really good backup to have on your team. Unless you're in a really deep league like 14, 16 teams or something, I don't suggest that you have Ryan as your starting quarterback. I would look for other guys if you're in that late last team to take a quarterback. I think you should look for more guys like Kevin Kolb, even Jay Cutler, for all his ups and downs, he can still gun it, still going to get you. I think he can put in the bag 3,800 yards passing or more, 26 plus touchdowns or more. He may throw some picks, so if you get really knocked hard for the interceptions, keep that in mind. But other than that, he's going to have those kind of numbers. He did it even last year. And another guy is probably Joe Flacco. I would put Joe above a guy like Matt Ryan right now. So keep those things in mind as we're heading closer to the 2010 fantasy drafts.
For more fantasy football information, go to fantasy-info.com and sign up for our free e-newsletter. Good luck in your 2010 Fantasy Football League. As an added bonus, the Fantasy Info guys will include their 5 secret tips for success in fantasy